2025 looks set to be another epic year for gamers, with plenty of sequels, remakes, and completely brand new IPs set to launch, as well as more information around the Nintendo Switch 2 coming in April. Let's take a look at some of my most anticipated games of this year. No 2025 games list is even a list. Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't on it. By the time this game launches in late 2025, it'll have been 12 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 originally released. In that time, we've had the original release, a re-release on the previous generation of consoles, and a re-release on the current generation of consoles. In GTA 6, we are going back to Vice City, with the game set in Leonida, which is based on Florida. I'm going to guess, like Grand Theft Auto 5, we'll be seeing a lot more than just the original location, with a massive open world of fake Florida to roam around. We know a little bit about the game's protagonist as well, Lucia. I'm excited to see what Rockstar do with this game. It's been 12 years since Grand Theft Auto 5, and the world has changed quite a bit. Now we have TikTok. Will Rockstar implement something weird and wonderful like that into the game? But really, I'm looking forward to heading back to Vice City. Probably my favourite setting of a GTA game. And then I loved going back to a larger, more expansive San Andreas in GTA 5. And I'm expecting GTA 6 to be very similar with Vice City. I can't wait to explore, find all the viral memes, and just have a great time. Grand Theft Auto 6 is scheduled to release on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles, and on PC. Now to number 2, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. I couldn't call myself a Metal Gear Solid fan if this wasn't here. And hopefully I didn't keep you waiting by not having it first on my list. It's been 10 years since we had Metal Gear Solid 5, the last mainline entry in the series. So imagine my surprise 2 years ago, in May. I remember it very well when this was announced. This is a remake of 2004's Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and as such will follow the same story of Naked Snake, who's tasked with saving a scientist, destroying a nuclear tank, beating some bosses, and also his former mentor. And that's just the quick version of the story. Wait till you actually play the full thing. Although the game is a remake, Konami have said they'll be following the same story and keeping the gameplay the same. The main differences will be in the visuals and some modern quality of life enhancements. Not that I don't trust Konami after Metal Gear Survive, but I'm glad they're staying faithful to the original game, and it's one of the main reasons I'm so excited for this. This is basically the 2025 version of playing the HD collection version of Metal Gear Solid 3 for the first time, and I am so here for it. Some of the changes they are making are more to controls and graphics, and I am really looking forward to those too. For a start, they're implementing crouch walking. I'm really looking forward to trying this out on the new version, blending in with the grassy terrain, hiding among the trees and the shrubbery. Another change they made is to the injuries Snake sustains during the game. Previously, you'd heal yourself in the survival viewer, and that would be it. Completely done, completely healed. But now, any injuries sustained will still be visible during the game. Cuts and bruises that were sustained during combat will still be visible. Did a bullet graze your arm, you'll see the rip in the clothing and the cut on Snake's body. This has been done to try and give every player their own Naked Snake. Finally, one of the bigger changes I'm looking forward to is trying out the introduction of a new control style. The new style plays a lot more like recent Metal Gear Solid games, with a third-person view and more action-y controls. Think more Metal Gear Solid 5. The old Legacy style is still available, so I really want to try a playthrough of both and see what difference, if any, they make. Will the third-person view be a little bit different compared to the new action style? Solid Delta Snake Eater is scheduled to release on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. Number 3, but not a number 3, it's Borderlands 4. It'll be 6 years since the last Borderlands released, when Borderlands 4 eventually comes out, and I've never been more ready to jump back in to the looter shooter. Try saying that as a Geordie. While I think Borderlands 3 was a little bit weaker than Borderlands 2, I still really enjoyed the story, setting, the characters, and of course the typical Borderlands humour that we all know and love. Now with Borderlands 4, we seem to be getting bigger than ever before. The game has moved from the setting of Pandora to a new planet named Kairos. In Borderlands 3, Elphys, the moon that was teleported away by Lilith, caused a protective barrier around this new planet to be destroyed. And like previous Borderlands games, we are taking on the role of a Vault Hunter, leading a resistance against a dictator called the Timekeeper. So that's kind of how this new planet is being brought in and linked to the previous Borderlands games. But personally, I'm excited for this shift to a new planet, and in my eyes, that's a fresh reboot of the series. A new planet allows for fresh locations, new characters and enemies, and new modes of transport, which I think will be perfect to freshen up a game which you can probably argue hasn't changed loads across its releases. We've had, more guns, a few extra locations, but not massive changes. But we've already seen a new grapple hook, which can be used for traversal around the planet, and I'm really looking forward to trying this out and seeing how it opens up any new combat strategies and fights, as well as just getting around the map itself. As well as the new planet, Gearbox have promised the open world will be seamless with no loading screens at all. And I'm really interested in seeing how this works and whether we'll have any stealth loading instead, maybe when you go down a lift or something like that. Because if I remember correctly, there was quite a bit of loading in both Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3. Borderlands 4 is scheduled to release on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. Number 4 on the list is Fable. When people think of the original Xbox, they think of Halo and Halo 2 as the standout titles from that console. Me, as well as enjoying them, I think of Fable. Originally released in 2004, it was one of the first games I played to give me a choice between good and evil. Being the teenager I was back then, I of course picked evil, mainly for the glowing red eyes and the devil horns. I was obviously ahead of my time in fashion. Fable 2 and Fable 3 released on the Xbox 360, and I played and completed both of those, enjoying them massively. And then Lionhead Studios were forced to focus on Kinect games by Microsoft before eventually closing down with only a Kinect Fable game to show for it. Fast forward to the present time, and Fable is back with a new development team from Playground Games, famous for the Forza Horizon series. This new Fable is a reboot for the series, and we will see a very similar style of Fable game, but updated for more modern times with fresh gameplay mechanics, and of course the visuals. Still set in Albion, many years have passed, and we have a new hero to take control of. The tongue-in-cheek British humour from the previous games looks to be alive and well, based on what's being shown off in the trailers. And being British, I'm all for it. I just hope they keep the morality system in, and you can be good or evil. It looks as though you can still kick the chickens, so that can be good or bad, depending how you feel about those feathered friends or feathered enemies. What I'm most interested in, apart from seeing how a studio made for racing games can reboot a beloved franchise, is how Playground Games can use their Forza engine to create this game. One thing I have learned from playing the Forza Horizon series is that Playground Games love their open worlds, which is a great start for rebooting a game like Fable. Forza Horizon has had the UK as an open world, Mexico as an open world, so they've got plenty of experience of doing that. Fable is scheduled to release on Xbox Series consoles and PC, and will be available with Game Pass. Number 5 is Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. We've had Spider-Man, we're waiting for Wolverine, and we've even had an Iron Man game. But where's Captain America been during all this, I hear you ask? Well, this year we are going to find out. Apparently he's been in 1943. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra from Skydance Studios is written by a legendary video game writer, Amy Hennig, who is famous for the Uncharted franchise, amongst others. To say I'm looking forward to this is an absolute understatement. I've always been Team Cap, and based on Amy's previous work, I trust this one to be a massive hit. But what are we expecting from this game? Well, from what we've seen and been told, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra will be a story-driven action-adventure game. Captain America and Black Panther will be playable characters and are tasked with, as the game name suggests, stopping the rise of Hydra. But before they can get to that, they've got their own differences to settle, and I'm really looking forward to that part of the story, as based on the trailers, they really do not get along. With it being set in 1943, we are in the middle of World War II, and although I've played many, many, many first-person shooters in this era, remember the PS2 generation? So many of them. I can't think of many narrative-driven games that I've played during that time. Nazi-occupied Paris and the jungles of Wakanda seem to be the main settings that have been shown off, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more than just that. There's also a third super soldier set to appear in the game, but they haven't been revealed yet. Any guesses? Let me know in the comments. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is scheduled to release on PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and PC. Now we are going to switch it up a little bit. You'll see what I did there. As we move to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. So, shamelessly, I haven't finished a Metroid game. I've dabbled in 1 and 2, played a little bit of Fusion on the Game Boy Advance, and played Hunters on the Nintendo DS. But 2025 is the year of change. And I am going to change all of that by, first of all, playing through Metroid Prime 1 to 3 in anticipation for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. It seems that Metroid Prime 4 has been known about for a crazy amount of time, but details about it are thin on the ground. Originally, it was announced at E3 in 2017 and was being developed by Bandai Namco. However, in 2019, it was revealed that Retro Studios, the original developer of the trilogy, were back at the helm. Finally, in June of last year, 2024, we got our first glimpse of gameplay. To be perfectly honest, I couldn't tell you why I've never completed any of the Metroid Prime games. They are clearly my cup of tea. An action-adventure game, first-person shooting elements, some puzzles, the Morph Ball sections. I should be completely sold on it, but I haven't played them. But one thing I do know about Metroid is that it blends all of those elements perfectly. Some quiet exploration at this point, scanning some stuff over here, and then you finish off with an almighty gunfight against some enemies. A part of me also wonders if Metroid Prime 4 becomes a launch title for the Nintendo Switch 2, or if it's just going to be a Switch title and they'll have some improvements, maybe a little dual release like Twilight Princess was with the GameCube and the Wii, but we will find out. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is scheduled to release at some point this year on some Nintendo console, possibly the Switch, possibly the Switch 2. We will find out more probably in April. Now, some other games that we shouldn't forget about, and some of these are worth a mention too. There's a couple in here. So, first one is Death Stranding 2 On the Beach. So, the sequel to another game that I haven't played and been meaning to play, from the mind of Metal Gear Solid creator Hideo Kojima. And even though I haven't played the original, the 10-minute gameplay trailer for the second one had me super hyped. I've already downloaded the first one, ready to complete before this one. I'm very excited to jump into this world that Kojima's created. Death Stranding 2 On the Beach is a PS5 exclusive title, and again will launch this year. And this is a little bit of a different one. It is South of Midnight, from the creators of We Happy Few and Contrast. This is an Xbox exclusive third-person action game, and I really like the art style of this game and the setting of the Deep South. To me, it looks a little bit like a stop-motion-esque game, and I am completely here for that. The game combines platforming and what look to be some epic boss fights, and it also seems that each boss has their own theme song, which I find really cool. But we also have to give a special mention to my favourite character out of all of them I've seen so far, Shaken Bones. And finally, one last mention is Assassin's Creed. The latest Assassin's Creed game was delayed from last year to February and has been delayed again. Set in Japan. I am very much looking forward to this. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Mirage because I feel like they went back to the original Assassin's Creed formula instead of the massive RPG open world style games of Valhalla, Origins and Odyssey. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out, and even though it's been delayed, I'm still looking forward to it. Still think there's some potential there for it. So I'll be picking that one up when it launches on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series consoles and PC. So there's only one thing left to do, and that is for you to let me know what your pick from this list is. Any games that you're looking forward to that I've missed out. And also don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.